You are not just another hustling salesperson. You are the expert, the resource, the valuable partner for your clients. And how you grow your business should reflect how your clients see you. Welcome to the Roadmap to Grow Your Business podcast. We generate referrals without asking, build positive client experiences, and help you take control of your business. Here's your charmingly sarcastic host, Stacey Brown Randall.
Hey there, and welcome to episode 152 of the Roadmap to Grow Your Business podcast. I'm your host, Stacey Brown Randall. Okay, before we dive into the episode, listen up. I have something very exciting to share with you, and I want to make sure you're not multitasking and you're hearing what I have to say so you don't miss this opportunity. If you have ever thought about investing and joining the Growth by Referrals program, but you were worried that you wouldn't complete it because it is the independent study level, after all, an online program, but if you were worried that you would invest in it and then not complete it, I totally get it. And right now, I have the perfect solution for you. What is it? It's the Growth by Referrals, or Gbr Boot Camp. That's right. I want you to join me and your fellow GBR students as I help you get through the program step by step, week by week, so you're not overwhelmed. And not only do you start the program, you finish it. I want to help you build your referral plan with memorable and meaningful touch points, and I want to make sure you create your very own touch point language. We're going to do all of this in very, very, very non-overwhelming steps, and to make sure that you don't get overwhelmed at any point. But we're going to do this over 6 weeks. And by the time we hit the end of those 6 weeks, you'll already be executing on your plan with your very first touch point being delivered. You're going to receive live support from me during weekly office hours for personal attention. And I'm going to do some special additional teaching just for boot camp members. So if you've ever considered the GBR program, but you're thinking to yourself, well, I kind of like working in groups. Back in school, I used to pick my always having a group or two when I was doing my science project. If that's you, or you just know, hey, I want to do it, but I'm afraid I won't complete it, we have you covered right now with this limited time offer to get in for the Growth by Referrals Boot Camp. And guess what? It's free. It's included with the cost of the Growth by Referrals program. It is not an additional charge. Now, for those of you who are in the GBR program, if you've already gotten through the program, well, then you don't need the boot camp, of course. But there are many GBR members who have started yet not completed the GBR program. You had the best of intentions. I know, we've all been there. Trust me, we have all been there. But if you've started the program and you haven't completed it, well, then yes, you can get into the GBR Boot Camp as well. There's a very special way that you're able to sign up if you're a current GBR student. So make sure you check your email. If you didn't get an email, well, that may mean it's sitting in your spam or junk folder, or just reach out to us and we'll go ahead and get you those details. But we would love to have you join the GBR program right now so you can take advantage of the GBR Boot Camp. But here's the thing. We are kicking off May 17th, which means you have to sign up by May 16th to be a part of the boot camp. Remember, the boot camp doesn't cost you a penny more. It's included, but you have to join the Growth by Referrals program by May 16th, so that when we kick off Monday, May 17th, and you get your weekly schedule and you're like, I'm ready to rock and roll, well, you got to be signed up with us to rock and roll with us. So I would love to have you sign up. Just go to growthbyreferrals.com. You can check out, of course, the entire Growth by Referrals program, all of the standard bonuses that we provide, and then, of course, read up more on this GBR Boot Camp, your 6th current bonus that we are offering, but only for a limited time, because after May 16th, we will kick off and we will be doing 6 weeks together. I'm so very excited. Remember, the GBR Boot Camp is a group coaching opportunity led by me, yours truly, to help you get through the Growth by Referrals program in real time. That's right. It includes weekly live support and live teaching sessions, plus a supportive community to make sure you are in the execution phase with your referral plan before the second half of 2021 begins. Okay, don't forget growthbyreferrals.com right now to sign up. And if you're a current GBR student, go look for your email about the GBR Boot Camp and sign up. All right, let's dive in to today's episode. If you're tuning in as a new listener, we have just started a series on what it takes to be referable. That's right. What does it mean to be referable for you and your business? And specifically about being referable, we're focusing on your client experience, as the client experience is at the heart, of course, at being able to receive referrals. Now, this is a series of mini lessons, which technically I already didn't follow last week because the episode went longer than I had planned. But these mini lessons are supposed to be like 10 or 15 minutes. Dig in. Let me teach you one aspect of the client experience, and then you can go apply it. In some cases, it may just be shifting your mindset around it. In some cases, it may be you actually doing something different within your business to really strengthen or overhaul your client experience. So I'm going to do a better job. I'm going to try to stick to the mini lesson concept of less than 15 minutes. On today's mini lesson is about clarifying an aspect of the client experience. There's a lot of things about the client experience we kind of understand just by people like talking about, hey, client experience and like what it means today for businesses. But there's a part that I always find that people get confused with the client experience. And I want to make sure that we unconfuse you, that we clarify it. And it's this concept of customer service. That's right. People sometimes get confused when they think about customer service as it relates, of course, to the client experience. And so this is one of those pieces that you just kind of have to make sure you get. Because if you don't, you're going to not really get the totality of what your client experience is supposed to look like in your business. If you only think about client experience and see it from a customer service lens, you're going to be missing like 3/4 or more, actually, of what the client experience is all about. All right, let's start with some definitions. Customer service is defined as the assistance and advice provided by a company to those people who buy or use its products or services. Now, this is coming out of the Oxford Dictionary. So let me say that again. Customer service is defined as the assistance and advice provided by a company to those people who buy or use its products and services. So it's when somebody is working with you, right? So if you sell products, they've bought your product. If you're a service provider, they have engaged you for your services, and you're providing assistance and advice. That is just one small, tiny aspect of the overall client experience, because here's how we define client experience today. And what's interesting is, well, at the point that I was doing some research for my second book, which is, of course, all about building that sticky client experience so you can be referable, the definition of client experience actually couldn't be found in a dictionary. I don't know if it can be found there by the time you're listening to this episode or by the time you read my book. But Forrester Research defines client experience as how customers or clients perceive their interactions with your company. And HubSpot defines it as the impression you leave with your clients, resulting in how they think about your brand. I have found the simplest way to define client experience for those I work with is client experience is how a client feels about your company while doing business with you, which they carry with them once they finish working with you. And how you deliver on that feeling is based on a series of work and relationship building touch points, which of course these work and relationship building touch points or connection points we will explore in greater detail in upcoming episodes. Trust me, it's like the crux of the entire client experience. So when you compare the two definitions, you can see how customer service is important and definitely fits into the client experience. But just having a customer service focus or a customer service team won't impact the totality of the relationship and the feelings that a client has towards your company as deeply as a well-rounded client experience. While customer service may solve a problem encountered by a client with your company, it's just one part of how a client will judge your company. The client experience is the totality. It's the all-encompassing sense that your clients have with your business. It's their experience. And so when you think about customer service, it's more about like, hey, I got a problem. Here's how we answer that problem. You can call this 800 number. You can get on an online chat through our website. You can email us. Or, of course, you can go to our frequently asked questions and find an answer to whatever question or problem you're having, right? It's very much that, hey, I got this issue. Here, let me help you solve it. Client experience includes customer service, but customer service is not the whole definition of a client experience. It's just a piece of it. Now, here's the thing. I do want to clarify one thing. I call this the client experience. You may call it the customer experience. Whether you have a client experience or a customer experience only depends on what you call those you do business with. So you're either calling them clients or customers for the most part. Now, you guys know if you're in my Growth by Referrals program, I refer to you as students. So I guess technically I could have a student experience, but I happen to refer to mine as a client experience. But the idea of the experience is still the same no matter what you call it, for your clients, for your customers, for your students, right? When working on my second book, I posted a poll in our free Facebook community. It's the Referrals Without Asking Facebook group. You should totally join it if you're not a member. And I asked if they call their buyers, right? I'm using air quotes that you cannot see because this is an audio podcast. But I asked them, like in a poll, what do you call your buyers? Either clients or customers. And the overwhelming majority of the people in that Facebook group, the Referrals Without Asking Facebook group, which is now just over 2,100 business owners, but the overwhelming majority said clients. So I think depending on the type of business you are in dictates which term you use, client or customer, but I just don't want that to confuse anyone. I want you to know that that's all the same thing from that perspective. And the other thing you're going to notice as we move forward through this series, I didn't do it with the last episode, but you're going to see it more often. You're going to hear me say it, and you're going to see it in the show notes, and even in the title of the individual episodes as part of this series. You're also going to see an abbreviation for client experience. So you'll notice the abbreviation that I sometimes use is capital letter C, capital letter X, so CX. And that's the abbreviation for client experience. This abbreviation has its roots in technology, actually. If you've ever heard of UI or UX from the tech world, which is user interface and user experience, kind of comes from the tech world, you know that UI, again, stands for user interface, which is how a website is laid out or how a product is built. Could also be how a service technically is delivered. I mean, this standard use of language, this lingo, I guess you could say, comes from technology. So typically it's how maybe the tech product is laid out or the website is laid out, right? So how it's laid out, right? How the website is laid out or how the product is built is user interface, UI. And how you interact with that website, product, or service, right? So it is how it's laid out and then how you interact with it. That's what makes it the user interface, UI. UX, though, stands for user experience, which is how you feel using that website or that tech product. So that's where the definition of UI and UX come from. And so that's just borrowed and applied the abbreviation to CX, client experience. So let me just give you a quick example, though, if you're like, wait, what is UI and UX? Here's my favorite example I've ever used. For example, think about Facebook, okay? Most of us are on Facebook on some way, shape, or form. Some of us very limitedly because maybe you're just in my Referrals Without Asking Facebook group and you're not on Facebook for any other reason, which is pretty cool, thanks. Or you're just on Facebook because you keep up with your kids or your grandkids or, one day like I know I'll be doing, maybe you're stalking your children, which I guess kids aren't on Facebook nearly as much as they used to be. But most of us have some interaction with Facebook, right? So for example, most changes with Facebook involve changes to the user interface, to the UI. It's how you navigate the news feed when they change it up, right? It's how the app is laid out. It's how they update and re-update their algorithm, right? Now, how you responded to any of those changes, whether you were smiling because you liked the new app layout or you were muttering under your breath because it changed your strategy on Facebook, well, that's your UX. That's your user experience. So a client experience actually includes both the UI and UX. And in an upcoming episodes, we're going to actually break down the client experience formula. But I just want to make sure you guys kind of have this understanding of really getting into, okay, we're using an abbreviation. You'll see it from time to time, CX. And then we also kind of dug in to make sure we understood exactly what it looks like from that perspective of customer service does not equal client experience. Customer service is a part of our client experience. It is not the experience. Okay, I'll be linking to some of the stuff that we've talked about from this episode and giving you more information on the show notes page for this episode at stacybrownrandall.com/152. Don't forget, Stacy has an E. And if you haven't left a rating or review yet, I would love for you to hop over to your favorite podcast listening app and leave a review. A 5-star rating and a really positive, glowing remarks review would be awesome. But of course, please, just make sure it's honest. And again, one more shout out, because it's the last time on the podcast you're going to hear me talk about this, as a shout out for the Gbr Boot Camp, this limited time offer, which is going to give you 6 weeks with me in a group coaching setting to help you get through and be executing on the Growth by Referrals program. Remember, if you are worried that if you invest in the Gbr program and you won't complete it, we have the perfect solution for you, and it's being offered right now for a limited time, and it's not going to cost you anything additional than the investment you're already going to make in the Gbr program. And for my Gbr students, don't worry. Remember, we're taking care of you too. To find out how you can participate, just go check your email or email us for more information. I would love for you to join me and your fellow Gbr students as I help you get through the program step by step, week by week, so you're not overwhelmed. Because there's nothing worse than investing in a program and wanting to do the work, and then busyness of life gets in the way and it doesn't actually happen. Let me help you. Don't worry about that. Completing the Gbr program will not be one of your issues when we go through this together in our 6-week group coaching session or group coaching environment. So you're going to get through the program step by step, week by week. You're going to build your referral plan. You're going to create your very own touch point language, but you're also going to get through everything else that's in the program. All the language pieces, not just touch point language, but all the other language pieces. You're going to actually do little things day by day or week by week, however you want to do it. You're going to get a breakdown of exactly what to do, what to watch, homework assignment to do. And then of course, you're going to have these live group sessions that we're going to do over Zoom. So there's actually interaction with me. There's unmuting yourself and asking questions and using the chat feature. This isn't like watching me on a Facebook Live where I'm like teaching at you, so to speak, and maybe you're commenting. This is going to be an interactive group coaching session for 6 weeks with these office hours and you being able to reach out and get support that you typically don't get when you just come in through the independent study level of the program. Now, yes, I know there are plenty of my Gbr students who are like, I got through the program, no problem. Awesome sauce. You're amazing. We're not all like that. So for those that need a little bit of help, well, that is what the boot camp is all about. So make sure you join growthbyreferrals.com by May 16th, and you'll be signed up to participate in the Gbr Boot Camp. Okay, coming up next week is episode 153, and your client experience journey with me continues. So until then, take control and grow your business. Bye for now.
Thanks for listening to the Roadmap to Grow Your Business podcast. To access all resources and links mentioned in today's show and to connect with Stacy, head over to www.stacybrownrandall.com.